Hi, and welcome to the Skincarma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skincarma blog. With more than 25 years in beauty as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. On today's episode of the Skincarma Pod, I'm joined by Angela Caglia, founder of one of the buzziest brands in beauty today. Angela is a master esthetician with decades spent igniting celebrity complexions from Paris to LA. She saw early on that traditional skincare often missed the mark. Beautiful packaging, bold claims, but little substance. Nothing truly healed or nourished skin at a cellular level. Frustrated by the disconnect between promise and performance, she embarked on a mission to build something different. A line rooted in real science, human stem cell derived growth factors, barrier first formulas, and biocompatible skincare that honors the skin's intelligence. What emerged was Angela Caglia Skincare, a brand transforming anti aging from surface glam to regenerative glow with formulas that speak the same biological language as your skin. I'm so honored to host Angela today to uncover what she knows about the skin, what she learned from French aesthetics culture, and why she believes regenerative medicine belongs on your vanity. So let's get to it. Let's talk to Angela. Angela, hi.
Hi, Carmine.
Well,
It's so good to be here.
same. Welcome to the Skin Karma Pod. I'm super excited. I know I say this on every episode, but I really am so jazzed to talk to you. I
Thank you.
mean, you burst onto the scene, I think 2 years ago, right? That was about when yeah.
I was actually on the scene before. It's been a long, overnight success. I
Yes,
started my
yes.
line 8 years ago, but it wasn't until two
Oh,
years ago that you're right. 2 years ago is when I really burst on the scene with this
yeah.
first to market serum. Yeah.
Yeah, when I first got my hands on this, and
Ooh.
I've been obsessed ever since.
Yes.
And I think I told you the story about how my new cat at the time, he was just a kitten. He had
Yeah.
jumped up on the vanity when I had all my skincare out. He was still doing that, and he knocked my
Yes.
product onto the floor, and I gasped, thinking that it was going to smash everywhere. And it just kind of cracked the glass, but I was good. I
Thank
finished every drop of that first Cell Forté Serum. Um, all right, so let's just hop into it. Super excited to hear all about you. Of course, you've had a long journey touching a lot of faces. And I want to hear all about you, your background. Like, where'd you grow up to start?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very small town called Visalia. It's right underneath Yosemite
I know
National Park.
Visalia in California.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I
How do
actually
you
do
know
know
it?
it.
Usually people drive through it. Have you been
Yeah,
in it?
well, we were driving through it.
See, exactly.
That's where the onions are, right? Is it onions or garlic, or maybe it's
No, that's
onions?
Gilroy. That's the
Oh,
garlic. That's
okay.
another
So
town.
yes, yes.
Raisins. I'm
Well,
known
we
for
always
raisins.
drove through there. I lived in
Pistachios.
LA for 15 years, and we used to drive through there on the holidays because a friend of mine and I would spend the holidays north of there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we always drove through there. But I know it. It's beautiful, farm country, very
Yes.
tranquil.
Yes.
Wow, amazing! You come from there. That's
Yeah.
wild.
I came from there and then I moved to Paris. I moved to New York. And I used to be so embarrassed to say I came from this little town, Visalia. And
Yeah.
now that I'm older, I'm very appreciative that I came from that sweet little town.
Mm.
It's really had a nice imprint on me today, running a company and having a skincare line. The values are still there, which is great.
Yeah. So how did you how like you didn't just all of a sudden become an esthetician? Like when you were growing up, like did you have what like think back, what was your beauty routine like?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I was growing up, I was pretty obsessed with, I think it was called Queen Helene. It was a
Hmm.
green mask that was clay based, and you could buy it at the drugstore, Queen Helene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was obsessed with putting it on if I got a little breakout. And I was quite young, and I would sleep overnight with these green spots because I was using a mask. And then I was playing with my grandfather, he was a big farmer. So I was playing with his fruits and putting it on my skin. And I was just kind of fascinated with what I could change with the skin, you know?
Hmm.
It was always there.
That's kind of how it got started. Did you always
Yeah.
want to touch other people's faces? Like I always like I have to
No.
say, first of all, I really admire estheticians because I cannot touch anyone else's face because I don't like having anyone touching my face.
Exactly, right? You don't.
Yes.
I can always tell those clients when they're like, no, I'm not going to get a facial because I
And
don't like
and
their
I have
face.
to tell you that my neck is very ticklish. And whenever I go for a facial, I mean, my facialist knows at this point, but you
Yes.
cannot touch my neck. I don't care. Like I'm 117 years old, and I still giggle like a 5-year-old when you touch my neck.
I want to give you a facial. I'm going to touch your neck.
No, no. Oh my god. So did you? So yeah, you didn't always want to be an esthetician.
I didn't discover it until I started to. I had very clear skin all through high school,
Hmm.
thank God.
Yeah.
But when I went to college, I started to break out and it really freaked me out. So I was like 20 years old, and a friend of mine recommended I go to a facialist. And this was so many years ago. I'm 54. I was, 20.
Hmm.
So this really chic woman, I didn't know what a facial was, and they paid for my facial, and like she did magic to my skin and I was blown away. So that's how I discovered the facial. And then I went to Paris shortly after and
Mm.
saw these facials everywhere. And I love the way the French women didn't wear any makeup, just a little lip and mascara, and they looked fabulous. So I was just drawn in.
Yeah. Take us back to that. Like I think something was sparked in you in Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, as you know, in the Central Valley in Visalia. And in the 80s, my mom was like an aerobic instructor. She's a cute little blonde. And she wore her Lancome makeup pretty caked on and, her frosted
Lancome.
lips.
Yes.
And I was just like, it's all about the makeup, mom. And I went to Paris and I saw it wasn't about the makeup, and
Mm.
it was all about the skin. And I realized, they had little facial studios everywhere, and I had never seen a real facial studio. It was just, hair or nails where I was growing up. So I just walked in and saw this beautiful woman behind this bureau, a little French woman, and this whole bookshelf of skincare. And I walked in and said, "What is this?" And
Mm.
I had the real French facial there, and it was just unbelievable.
It was
So,
really I guess what you were seeing was that it wasn't so much about masking
yeah.
imperfections. It was about repairing the skin and optimizing skin health more than anything.
Yeah, and that's a good point. When you mask something, there's an insecurity. So, you know, bless my mom, is she, would put makeup on because she had, some acne scarring. So she was covering her insecurity. And when you don't wear makeup, you feel really secure. And I felt the energy of these French women walking around with hardly any makeup. There was such a confidence. I
Yeah.
was so mesmerized by that. And I was just like, I want to be that woman when I grow up.
Right. And here you are, minus the accent.
Well, je parle français, hein?
Oh, oui, je parle français aussi.
Oh, très bien.
I mean, I worked for L'Oreal for 8 years, but I was also a minor in French in college. I mean, I
Amazing.
guess if I moved to France, I'd probably be pretty good in no time. But
Yes.
kind of always it comes back, right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Um, all right. So, like, as a longtime esthetician, you've touched thousands of faces, and I understand it's kind of giving you like unique real world feedback on
Yeah.
how different skin types and lifestyles respond to treatments.
Yeah.
Like over the years with hand-on experience, literally, what are the
Yeah.
biggest skin myths you see repeated today?
Well, yeah, and that's such a good point. A lot of my competitors in the marketplace are doctors who
Yeah.
are fabulous at what they do. They went to a lot of med school, but they're not when you go in, whether it's a derm or a plastic surgeon, they're not really there to discuss your skin, touch your skin for an hour and
Mhm.
stare at it and magnify it, get to know you as a human, touch it, put things on it. So I think estheticians have a really big advantage in creating skincare because we've seen what happens when skincare isn't truly skincare. So what I've seen is just, even the biggest celebrities, the most beautiful women, supermodels, actresses that you would think are so confident are not. And that's what surprised me. I thought, wow, this woman
Mm.
has it all. There I was, just working away. And I could see her insecurities. And that was just amazing to me because I didn't understand that. And I realized that we all are kind of suffering with the same issues. It's like these products are sensitizing our skin, they're making it red, they're making it dry. We're not looking and feeling younger.
Yeah.
And after the facial, I have them look in the mirror, and that's my most satisfying moment because actually I've hydrated, I've lifted, I've done everything, and they're so happy. But I knew when they went home, even the products they were buying or using were not really helping. So that's why I felt compelled to do something.
Isn't that amazing how skin
Yeah.
insecurity is so democratized?
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
Wow, that hadn't even occurred. That's never occurred to me. But the reality is, we all use the same skincare no matter who we are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's talk about the brand. So I understand now that the genesis of the brand began 8 years ago, even though it just kind of exploded 2 years
Yes.
ago. So take us back to that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll love this story.
Mm.
I lived in New York for a while in my 20s and learned how to hustle. So that's why I had to leave that small town, go to New York, learn how to like be a little tough and hustle. So when I was moved back and I was in LA, I worked at Ula Henriksen Spa, and
Ah, yeah, that's
I love
amazing.
him. I
Yeah,
was
he's a
working on
doll, isn't he?
he's a doll,
Yeah.
yes. I was working on he had just left, so I had kind of taken over a lot of the celebrities that were coming in and growing my business. And one young woman came in and I asked her what she did. She was 26. And she said, "Oh, I'm Barbra Streisand's assistant." And I was already so confident because I already worked on major celebs like
Mm.
Sting, blah, blah. So I'm like, "Hey, well, if you ever want to give her a facial, you can say it's from you and I won't charge." And I'm there. And she said, "Wow, her birthday's next week. Let me ask her." And I was like, "Oh my God, I think I'm going to be giving Barbara a facial." And she reached out the next day. "Yes, Barbara would like for you to come and give her a facial." It's
Oh
like
my
you
God.
don't you don't surprise Barbara. You ask Barbara.
Right.
So I was granted in, and I gave her a 2-hour facial, the longest facial of my life that I've given. And asked me, and I told her how much Yentl meant to me as a young girl. And she was talking the whole time. And I said, my mother told me to watch this. This is her first female director, writer, star, producer of a film. I was 11. And I
Mm.
told her that. And she said, it's a shame that Hollywood hasn't changed much since. And then she said, I was 40 when I did that. It took me years to get that done. And then she said, how old are you? And I said, 40. And
Mm.
then she leaned back, opened her eyes, and she said, well, what's your dream? And I was just like, whoa, it's like when Barbara's looking at you with a Brooklyn face and
Right.
beautiful eyes, and you got to have an answer. So on the spot, I intuitively said, well, to have a skincare line.
Oh
But I
wow.
never would have said that without Barbara in my face saying, what's your dream? So after that, she took me into her bathroom. She showed me all of her stuff. She said, Angela, what should I be using? So I was so
Oh
empowered.
my
I went back
God.
and started looking for a lab. She sent me an 8x10. You'll love this. The next day, a FedEx envelope arrived to my place.
Hmm.
It was an 8x10 of Barbara. Do I have it in here? I still have it. And it is her hands and her nails. And it said, Angela, thank you for the most lovely afternoon, blah, blah, blah. So she inspired me to start looking for a lab. I'm like, if Barbara Streisand believes in me.
Mm.
And I don't have a rich uncle, didn't come from a wealthy family, but I scraped enough to get some products started. And I ended up, one of my other celebrity clients saw how determined I was with my line. And he said, I'm going to give you $10,000 to get out of this spa, open your own little spot, and you pay me back when it means nothing to you, when 10
Wow.
is nothing. And I was just beside myself and thrilled. So I opened a little enclave in Bel Air. All my celebs followed, and that was when I could start my line. So I was just piecemealing whatever money I was making to
Mm.
create the products. And then going into I did get into some doors, but I was naive. I didn't realize that you need to have a marketing budget. You can't sit next to Tata Harper and think that you're going to sell. No one knows of you.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until my mom was diagnosed with dementia a couple years later that I was looking for alternatives for her because she was quite young and had a stroke and it was induced. So I found the stem cell research lab, and the owner of it is a lovely woman, and we just started talking about skincare, and she told me about human stem cell conditioned media and
Hmm.
how it was discovered in the 70s for wound healing and that it is incredible on the skin. So that just got my mind working. Took me a while to work with her. It took many years to get this going with my chemist to create. And we were finally launching it uh, in October of 23 at
Mm.
Violet Grove. So they wanted to launch it. It was a risk. We didn't have funding yet. We just did it. It was my last $10,000 on a credit card. I bought 500 units, super expensive, sent from a stem cell research lab. It was crazy to do.
Yeah.
And If you don't have that crazy little part of you that doesn't want to follow what other people are doing, you're never going to reach where you want to go. And it was either I was going to do really well or I was going to crash and burn, so turned out great.
Wow, that is an incredible origin story. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, let's talk about your proprietary formulas and the
Yeah.
stem cell conditioned media. Can you explain what that is, first of all?
Yes, yes. So basically, everyone knows you've heard peptides or
Mm,
exosomes or growth factors.
mm,
Well, most of those are either plants, which are truly antioxidants when they're in skincare. They're, there's no regulation on saying this has exosomes. If you look at the ingredient deck, it'll just be like a plant extract.
right,
So that's like a word that doesn't have a lot of regulation, which is a little frustrating. But there's plants, which is just not even exosome, it's just an antioxidant. And then there's synthetic, which are peptides and synthetic growth factors and synthetic made exosomes, which are to duplicate the real.
right.
So I said, forget the duplication, forget the chemical, the plant. I want to go into the real because that's what's actually was going to be injected in my mom's brain because part of it died from her stroke. This is regenerative medicine. It goes into your brain, it goes into your heart to repair your organs. I'm like, wait, our skin is our largest organ. Let's do this topically. So what they do is they take 1 teaspoon of adipose tissue from healthy consenting adults, right here, the fat, and
Mm,
that's the best source to get the mesenchymal stem cell or MSC,
hmm.
which is basically the hero of our bodies. We're born a ball of stem cells. This is the one that goes in to create our skin, it creates our hair, it creates our gallbladder, it creates everything. It also repairs everything. So that's why we're sourcing it from the mesenchymal stem cell versus other brands which are taking it from blood cells or skin cells. We're going right to the hero of regenerative medicine because of all of the repair factors and all of the growth factors. So it's a big process because it's a stem cell research lab and they're behind a big glass wall, hazmat suits. They're doing it all by hand, this little flask, and the stem cells from that 1 teaspoon will sink to the bottom. And this is a CGMP certified lab. They'll sink to the bottom and they will drink and excrete from this liquid. And the liquid is conditioned media. That's what you call it.
Ah, okay.
And this liquid, and they pour out, they purify. There's no stem cells in my jar. They would never survive and they would never penetrate your barrier. It's the actual heroes of the stem cell, which is the
Mm,
real magic. It's the factors and the proteins. So that's the billions of exosomes and growth factors that go in to communicate to your skin to repair and regenerate. And what that means is I was using it morning and night, first to skin for 3 months in little vials when I was testing it.
mm,
I also have a formulation certificate in chemistry from UCLA in cosmetic chemistry. So I'm super into the ingredients.
yeah.
And within 3 months using it morning and night, these 2 spots that I say no product will ever remove any hyperpigmentation. Go get
Yeah.
laser.
Yeah.
Gone. And I freaked out and they're still not back. So it makes sense because that's damage, that's sun damage. So
Yeah.
it's going in to communicate on a cellular level to repair and regenerate. Your skin just gets more hydrated, the redness goes away, and you start to feel tighter. It's truly, I say every 10 years there's some big thing. It's either vitamin C or it's retinol. Now it's this. And we have a patent pending human stem cell technology. So I think it's the future of skincare. It's the future of medicine.
Yeah, it's super fascinating, and it's I see everything. Everything comes across my desk,
Yes.
and there's like I haven't seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I have to say before we jump into, I have 3 products in front of me. One of them, of course, is the Cell Forté Serum, your hero product. But I read something. I can't remember where I read it. I jotted it down, and it was something that you put out as a brand that says that the formulas speak the same biological language as your skin. I thought that was gold.
Thank you. I'll have to use that more now that you said it's gold.
Yes, use it more.
Yeah, it's true. These things that they say are going to do things to your skin that really don't.
Yeah.
They're not really communicating to your skin. And the proof is in the pudding. It's like you look at our reviews on our site. I've never heard reviews like this. Like this woman said, I feel like I made a pact with the devil for the skin. My teenage indifferent children are saying, "What are you doing, mom?" It's just like someone called it Jesus juice. Like it's just like you don't get reviews like that. And people are obsessing. I got celebrities who are like, "I'm in London, I'm out. Can you please send it? They don't sell it here." And they're like freaking out. These are models. And I'm just like, wow, this must be something good.
That's
So
amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. All right, so let's jump into it. So we have the Cell Forté Serum,
And it's clean. There's no silicones. It's very lightweight because we
super
want
lightweight.
we want it to go into the skin, right?
Yeah,
It's not even a serum, it's a treatment.
yeah.
So I like to call it like microneedling without the needles. It's delivering all of this yummy stuff to help your skin to repair and regenerate. Super lightweight. It's 100 out of 100 on the Yuka app, if anyone knows of that one. The Yuka
Yes,
app.
I know what that is.
I
It
know you
feels
do.
like super powered water. It is
Yes.
almost like just a hair above the
Yeah.
texture of water.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is that way, and that's why men love it too, and
Ah,
women love
yeah.
it because we can layer it. But for a man, it's ideal because it replaces vitamin C, retinol, hyaluronic acid, and peptide serums. I also added different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid and snow mushroom to hydrate.
Hmm.
So I love for men to use it because it doesn't look like they're glazed over with dimethicone or silicones. It goes into their skin, and it's easy for them, and they just start to look better and better. So I think every guy needs this.
I think that the point there is that it goes into your skin. And, I talk a lot on my blog and in the podcast about products that don't penetrate the skin barrier. And
Yeah.
they're really just superficial. The,
Yes.
the benefit is superficial. The products are superficial. They don't really do anything. They sit on the surface. And, you think, I think, I mean, I guess I don't care anymore. Like, I talk a lot about how creme de la mer
Yeah.
is just so nonsensical because it just sits on the surface of your skin and it makes your skin soft and people love that soft feel, but it's not doing anything except making
Exactly.
your skin feel soft.
It's an illusion, and
It's an
it's
illusion.
mineral
Yeah.
oil. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And so what I think is so unique about this product and all your products is that they really do penetrate.
Yes. Into the skin, and that's something that is super important to me because I sit there and cleanse and work on people, and I
Yeah.
see things that are resting on their skin and not surface level. So when I first launched 8 years ago, I it was the same philosophy as when I had this hit, was just put into your skin what you lose as you age. So I have something called lipid lock technology, which is in all of the products, every single one of them.
Hmm.
And it's a certain way that we cold press. There's a certain oil that's found only, it's a flower, only found in Oregon area and Washington.
Mm.
And it's called meadow foam.
Oh
And
yeah, I saw that in the souffle moisturizer ingredient list.
yes,
Yeah.
it's the same molecular structure, almost identical to our own sebum, which we
Mm.
lose as we age, our own oil. It's also the highest in ceramides of any oil. It's like 98%. So it's so lovely. It helps bring everything down, and we cold press it to a certain level, and it's in every product, and it really helps things go into your skin.
And I have to say, of course, I had to do my deep dive into the Inkies, and the
Yes.
first thing that stood out about the Inky of the souffle moisturizer, which I'm kind of demonstrating here, um, is that there's no water. The first
Yeah.
ingredient is aloe leaf juice, and
Yes.
then the rest of it is just lipid-rich emollient plant oils, goat's milk, which I found fascinating, and
Yes.
antioxidants. It's like this is what a
Yeah.
moisturizer should be.
It's funny you just said that line. This is what a moisturizer should be.
Mm.
Barbra Streisand, when I was at her home giving her a facial, it
Hmm.
was Christmas a few years ago, and she asked if she can get a bunch of the souffles to give to her girlfriends, the stocking stuffers. She called her assistant in front of me on her phone, and she said, "Yeah, I love it. This is what a moisturizer should be." Like she literally described it the same way you just did.
That's
So
amazing, Barbara. Hi.
you guys are soulmates.
We're soulmates. Little did we know. I'm in Brooklyn now. That's so fun. That's so funny. And I think your latest launch, right, is the Cell Forte eye cream.
Yeah, I mean, there was such a demand, and I haven't used an eye cream for 30 years because
Yes,
I
I
think,
love that you're saying that because I almost never use
yes,
eye creams. My
yeah,
philosophy is everything you put on your face should be on your eye in your eye area, right? Like,
yeah,
come on.
And I've been told to sell products by managers my whole life when I worked
Yeah,
at spas. It's like, no, come on. You're just trying to gouge them for an eye area for another, 300
right,
bucks for the eye cream when
right.
you could easily bring your moisturizer all the way up. So I knew that when I was going to launch an eye cream, it had to be very, very special. And it kind of worked that I haven't used an eye cream for 30 years because I didn't look to other eye creams for any ideas.
Hmm.
I just created with my chemist what I was looking for. So this has the patent pending human stem cell technology,
Hmm.
which is calms inflammation, which helps with the hyperpigmentation. Sometimes you get spots like I did near my eye.
Yeah,
Your under eye area is the thinnest skin on your face. So you want something that's non-comedogenic, no silicones, are not going to cause any milia. I wanted, if I were going to do an eye cream, I was like, it's got to do something for puffiness and dark circles. Otherwise, it would just be a moisturizer.
right.
So we added this proprietary amount of caffeine, which has this kind of tightening effect. And you feel it almost like an eye patch. Someone said it just kind of the eyes. And then I want it to be really nourishing. So I have shea nut butter, which is so lovely. And it's
Yeah,
just such a gorgeous eye cream.
it really is. It's terrific.
I
If you're going
love
to
the
use an eye
little,
cream, here's an eye
yes,
cream you should use.
it's the one. And put it under your brow too. I put it all the way, everywhere.
Everything, everything. Sunscreen, all of it goes in here for me. All of it.
Yeah.
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 I think what's important, and a lot of what people know about how to use skincare, which is kind of why everybody is lost, is because for the longest time, what we know about skincare was taught to us by brands, by marketing
Yes.
teams on brands. And they want to, like you said, they want to sell an eye cream. And you know, aside from their eye cream, you shouldn't put anything else in your eye area because the skin is so delicate. And that to
Yeah.
me is the messaging that most people get, and to their detriment they're not using sunscreen in the eye area. And you know resonating on your point that it's the thinnest skin on your face, you should be protecting it.
Exactly. That's what everyone looks at is your eyes when they're
Yeah,
talking to you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's important. They're not looking at the side of your face. Someone will be like, "Oh, I've got a wrinkle here." It's like, well, who's really looking down there? They're looking right at your eyes when they speak with you and talk with you.
Nobody's looking down there.
Nobody.
It's so funny that you bring that up. That buzzy active called volufiline. It's
No,
all
no.
over. It's all like everything. It's everything on TikTok.
Okay,
And
that's
the
why.
ordinary,
Uh-huh.
the ordinary just launched a 92% volufiline.
Wow.
It's a volumizing serum, and I was like, what does it do? What's the trend? Of course I searched TikTok, and all of these girls are like showing their before and afters and about how their lips got super plump. And so I got my hands on this like 2 weeks ago, and I'm obsessed. And I keep
Really?
applying it like twice a day. I apply it to my lips. And before, like, it was like 2 hours ago, I went into the bathroom and I was like, oh, I forgot to put my stuff on my lips. And I'm like, it's not doing anything for my feather thin lip, my feather thin upper lip. But you know what? Nobody's looking at my lips. It's fine.
Does it sting when you put it on? Does it sting at all or no?
I know exactly what you're thinking. It does a little bit. It's not extreme.
That's
Like
good.
those things from those buzzy products from 2 years ago
Yeah,
that burned your lips or irritated your
exactly. Yeah.
skin to make them plump. I don't know. I'm gonna and I'm going to California tomorrow, and I'm realizing now I didn't pack it. I need to pack it because I'm gonna be sitting there on the plane going, oh, I need to put that on my
Yes.
lips. I don't want to
Yeah.
skip a I don't want to skip a beat. But so you mentioned retinoids, and
Hmm.
it's like so many, like the whole cosmetic world is obsessed with overemphasizing aggressive actives like exfoliating acids like glycolic acid. I never put that on my face.
Yeah, like the
Harsh retinoids.
P50. Yeah.
Yeah. Like these fast fix formulas. Like, what is it that consumers are looking for? Is it just that they're looking for a fast fix? And what should they be doing?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for a fast fix, and what happens is with those exfoliants, you use it the first time, and you
Mm,
get this gorgeous brightness. It's kind of eaten away like Pac-Man, all of the dead skin cells, and all of
yeah.
your stuff goes in great. But then if you continue to use it, it starts to sensitize. So That's why I just recommend go get a facial, have her do
Yeah.
a pro peel on you once a month, and then you get your glow. And don't try doing this at home with these acids that, and they'll call them toners, and they're not
Mm,
toners. They're acid peels. So a
yeah.
lot of it, I blame the industry
Yeah.
for calling these toners.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
just
We've
they're
bastardized
acid.
the term toner. And
Yeah.
I blame Clinique with that crazy acid toner. They started it in the
Yes.
70s. A toner
Yeah.
should really just be hydrating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um so you have this duality. You're now a founder, but you're still an esthetician at heart. You're balancing business, science, and your personal touch. Like, it's not easy, I imagine. What like
Yeah.
how do you stay grounded in that personal side of you and that attentiveness you've long shown your clients when you're now like kind of putting product out there that you're not exactly coming in personal contact with your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, having been in the industry for 30 years, I've watched other esthetician brands get big and sell and still be in stores, Sephora, and they don't give facials anymore. Like they're
Yeah.
just doing something else. They're not really estheticians anymore. So I keep one foot in because
Mm,
I never want to not be giving a facial at some point because then I lose, I call it like my why and my integrity and like just the real magic factor is I work so hard to create something for this person I work on. So I still have a studio in West Hollywood. I just gave Lily Allen a facial there a couple weeks ago. I just did an appearance at one of my retailers. I did a full facial day
oh,
at
wow.
Blue Mercury in Larchmont Village, and they did the Angela spa takeover. So it was lovely. I was giving facials, and like it was just a big deal for them. And one woman, I'll never forget, she walked in, and I have a brand, right? It's Angela Caglia. They assumed that I would have a rep giving a facial.
Right.
So for the brand, just like all the other ones do, they all have reps. La Mer, 111 Skin. It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
going to get a 111 Skin facial, and you're going to have some random facialist. It was Angela Caglia, and it was actually Angela Caglia giving the facial. So she walked in, she was like, "What?" And I introduced myself to her. She's like, "It's from you?" And I was just like, "Yes, come on in. Let's go." So I love it. I love interacting. It's just so satisfying.
That's cool. That's how you stay grounded. You stay connected. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important. Otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise I think you lose your integrity, or I've seen where people will put out products and not care, and I care so much about that customer. So that's what makes my products so different, and I think that's is my magic sauce is this knowing, having the wherewithal to know kind of how to work with my chemist, and also just caring and not cutting corners.
Yeah. All right, last question. Regenerative skincare introduces complexity and hard science to beauty routines. I think a lot of that can be intimidating, overwhelming, and a lot of consumers are just not interested in, getting that deep into the science. What's your advice to someone curious about stem cell technology or biotech skincare who feels that it's a bit overwhelming? How should they approach it?
Yeah, that's one of your best questions, actually. And that was when I launched this. I'm like, how am I going to make this like,
Mm,
digestible? It's actually worked better than I originally thought. I thought, oh God, this is going to be a disaster. How do I explain this? They're going to think I'm killing babies somewhere. And, with the stem cells, and which hadn't really happened at all in terms of feedback. So I think luckily the timing's right with longevity, wellness, the stem cells. People are getting stem cell injections in the wellness clinics for their shoulder for pain or their knees.
mm,
I think there's more of an awareness. I'm also aware of my customer. She's actually a luxury customer. This isn't cheap. It's 325. So I know my customer. She has some touch point with stem cells. And I just try and make it real simple. It's just human derived exosomes with billions of growth factors, proteins to repair and regenerate. So, we're still constantly working on this with my marketing teams to make it more digestible. You like the one about biological aging, something your skin
mm,
recognizes.
yeah.
That's a great way. But it's been easier than I thought. Like I'm outperforming. I've been the number one since I launched this October of 23 at Violet Gray. I'm the number one selling serum. I still outperform Dr. Sturm, Dr. Bader, all of them, Dr. Diamond, in terms of the serum sales. So I think people understand that when it's real, like it's derived, like this woman's kind of serious, like this
Yeah.
is truly medical grade. So I think they get it, luckily. And if they don't, I'm still trying to figure out how to make them understand it to grow the brand. I don't want to be niche. I want to be
Yeah.
a big brand. So we're
Yeah.
constantly working on that.
Incredible. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on to a lightning round. You can give quick answers or you can expound. Up to
Fun.
you. Up to
Okay.
you. Yeah, this is
I
fun.
love it. I like fast.
Something you believed earlier in your career that you no longer believe.
Gosh, that's a good question. I have to think quickly. I believed that I couldn't be a CEO of a skincare brand because I'm a facialist and I'm a
Mm,
woman, that I couldn't have that role. And I didn't think that that would be happening, and it did.
wow. And this is kind of in tandem with that. If your younger self could see what you've created today, what do you think she'd say?
Mhm. Well, she wanted to be a fashion designer, but I design the packaging. I still a lot of creative in what I do,
Yeah.
but she would be like, "Are you kidding me, Angela? How on earth did you pull this off?"
Right.
How did you do this? How did you follow your dreams like this? I didn't have a
Incredible.
lot of encouragement at all.
Yeah.
So I went within myself to do it. So I think she'd be proud that but I think Barbra Streisand was that one moment, and Helena
Right.
Christensen, she helped me too. So I think I learned the lesson of surround yourself with people that can lift you up. And that was my what I tell my daughter is just surround
Mm,
yourself with the five people that really lift you up, where you admire them and then you kind of become them.
that's such great advice. Oh
Mhm.
wow, I love that.
Yeah.
An ingredient or trend in skincare that you think is overhyped.
Oh gosh. Um, I mean, everything on TikTok, honestly, that pops up. Sorry.
My my thin upper lip.
That is just not gonna work. But
It's not
but
gonna do
yeah,
anything.
no, my real answer is retinol. I think
Ah,
everyone thinks that's the gold standard, and I'm trying to get that out of their heads that
yeah.
it's really not the gold standard. Or and even back in the day when I thought maybe I should launch one. I'm an esthetician. I tried it. I didn't like it. And I would tell my clients, go get tretinoin, go to your derm, get the real thing. Why get a
Yeah.
derivative filled
Yeah.
with other ingredients that aren't great? So I think over the counter retinols are so overrated because it's not just the retinol you're buying, that's one ingredient. You're buying what they're mixing it with and all the other ingredients, which are really not great. So, retinol.
Yeah. All right. Your one non-skincare daily ritual that you think contributes to your glow.
Aw. Making a choice to be happy is a quick answer, and exercising and movement. I think that
Mm.
encourages me to be like I've already been to the gym, I did a workout, and I was playing tennis last night. So I think the more movement I do, the happier I become because I feel better because I'm no spring chicken.
I am no spring chicken either, and I can tell you when I don't, I go on a long distance ride every morning, usually 15 miles, unless it's too cold.
Wow, nice.
And the days like today it was too cold that I haven't ridden, I feel different.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Your favorite dessert, one you'd never pass on.
Uh, there's a few. Tres
Oh,
leches, tres leches,
okay.
il flottant, which is a French dessert called floating island, which is a
Ah,
meringue floating in like a custard.
uh-huh.
And nanas, or is it not nanas? Yeah, they're Portuguese little custards. And creme brulee. So I'm a big custard person, I guess.
Wow, you really are. A beauty rule you break.
A beauty rule I break. I mean, I don't wash my face in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I haven't for 30 years. I think that's unnecessary if you're doing the right products at night. That's when your
Mm,
skin is regenerating while you sleep, and you don't need to, change the exterior, the barrier. You don't need to change the pH with a cleanser, um, unless you're sweating at night profusely. Please wash your face in the morning, or if you're acneic, then wash your face. But
right,
that's kind of a big secret to looking younger is having good skincare that you don't need to wash off. And people are like, "Oh, I got to wash my retinol off," and I'm like, "Well, why are you using something that you need to wash off? Maybe you
right.
shouldn't be using retinol.
Yeah. That's a
Like, you
good
want that
uh
chemical off your face? It's like,
yeah.
come on."
So you just use water or you just
No,
shower?
I don't use water because that also can change the pH of the skin.
Mm,
So I wake up, you know what's by my bed? I put Cell Forté on immediately.
incredible.
And then I
I'm
go
gonna
into the rest of the products.
I'm gonna need to put that on my nightstand along with my value Feline.
I know you keep coming back to your volume for me. I'm gonna reach out to my chemist and be like, "We gotta put that in our next product, the lip product,
Yes, your lip product. Mix that with the human
stem
stem
cell."
cell conditioned media and see what you come up with.
Totally.
Last question. Finish this sentence. The secret to healthy skin is.
Um, Wanting to take care of yourself, and that goes with everything. So healthy skin is really being consistent and really having the esteem to take care of your skin, you know? A lot of people don't take care of their skin because they're too busy with other stuff, or maybe they don't think that the skin is they don't know that how well they can feel with having great skin. You
Mm,
know, there's such a real power in having great skin that I think you have to have self-esteem to want yourself to feel that good.
yeah. Oh, thank you. That's a perfect place to wrap up. This is
Aw,
incredible, Angela. I really appreciate it.
it's been a blast. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on here. So thank you.
Aw, awesome. All right. I will drop links to all of the products into the show notes, and people
Ooh.
can follow the links and check the products out themselves. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Carmine. Bye.
Okay, ciao. All right. Thank you for listening to the Skin Karma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skin Karma blog at skinkarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.